You know, one of the biggest questions we get these days is, what is BTP? Is that fair?
That is.
What is the business technology platform? And I'm guessing that's why all y'all are here, right?
That's it.
So I live in the South, and all y'all is plural for y'all. But David, over the next 45 minutes, is going to take you through what the business technology platform is. And we really, really appreciate you. This is an innovation room, right? And business technology is innovation at its best. And David's going to help explain that to you. So I'm going to shut up and get off stage.
Awesome.
Thanks, Dave.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you, everybody, for coming. This is fantastic. It's great to see a full room. When I think of the amount of change that we've seen over the last 3 to 5 years, it's just been incredible. And in fact, that speed of change isn't decreasing. If anything, it's accelerating, which is why I'm glad all of you are here to be able to hear about the business technology platform. And when you think about the business technology platform, what is it? Well, it says right here on this slide, it's the platform of the intelligent enterprise. I like to think of it as the operating system for the intelligent utility. Again, my name is David Taylor. I'm an executive solution engineer and director with SAP. Really excited to be here, and I've been supporting utilities over the last 15 years. We're going to cover a lot as we walk through the business technology platform, so buckle up, and we're going to have a lot of fun. All right, so when you think about change, I talked about the change that we've seen, just in the utility industry, for example, just how we look at how we generate power, for example. We went from a traditionally centralized model to now a decentralized model. We're moving into decarbonization. And in fact, just in the session prior to here, they were talking a lot about e-vehicles. And so the way in which we consume energy is a lot different, leveraging intelligent battery technology. In the same way, we've seen huge changes in business culture, right? So here along the bottom side, I'm talking about the business culture of this kind of traditionally kind of structured, stable, and controlled landscape of how utilities operate, to organizations wanting to be more agile, move to the cloud as quickly as possible so they can look to adapt new technologies and ultimately provide a very coordinated experience for their customers as they interact with the utility themselves. So what does that mean specifically for the business and technology, right? Teams. You've got business on one side. They're really focused on the best way to be able to serve the customer. They're really wanting to make sure they can offer the customers the best possible services. At the same time, you've got IT. Oh my gosh, IT, they're struggling to really keep up. How can they respond fast enough to all the business needs that are out there? How can they begin to take on board some of these new emerging technologies? And so there's this constant kind of challenge between business IT and getting everything that's needed implemented and available for customers and in the organization. And so one of the organizations I like to talk about that I feel like has done a good job at beginning to incorporate the business technology platform into their organization is CenterPoint Energy. Now, one of the implementations they wanted to be able to do is they wanted to optimize the call center experience for their customers. And so they had a number of kind of targets here on the left-hand side, you'll see in blue, that they were shooting for, but you can actually see that after they implemented the business technology platform, they had some amazing results. What they did is they used our HANA technology to be able to understand who was calling in the call center. They would do a reverse lookup on the phone number, and they would say, based on certain information they knew about the customer, for example, whether that person had recently received a high bill, whether they did a normal move-in, move-out at this time of the year, whether they had recently had service at their location or there was an outage, they would be able to identify why that person had likely called in. And so they were able to modify the screen pop experience for the CSR representative. The reason why that was so important for them was because they had two separate CIS systems. They had one for their electricity business and one for the gas business. And so by using the business technology platform to provide that enablement, what it meant was they were able to move to a kind of a best-in-class overall user satisfaction score of 4.26. It was incredible. And not only that, but they were able to significantly reduce the amount of training that was required for their CSR. So you can imagine what that meant as far as getting their representatives on the phones quicker and being able to reduce the overall cost associated with that. So that's one example. And again, when you're looking at innovation and how you can really change your business, the business technology platform is what we talk about to be able to do that. It's really at the core, the base of everything that we're doing at SAP. So for example, you can see there are 4 pillars that outline the business technology platform. Right? You've got the database here on the left side, and then going across, we've got analytics, you've got integration and extensions, and then ultimately intelligent technologies. And this is the core technology foundation or operating system of the intelligent enterprise, as I mentioned before, that really drives the innovation that we're seeing at the intelligence suite level. And that's all about being able to optimize the business processes that you're trying to implement at your specific utility. And not only optimizing those business processes, but enabling communication beyond, right? Because we know that utilities do not work in a vacuum, they're part of a broader business network. And so the business technology platform is about enabling that, helping organizations move to the cloud with these technologies. Now let me break down each of these in a little bit more detail. So first, if you look at the database and data management, it's really all about being able to manage and govern your data, right? Being able to understand that, get insight out of that. And so we have a number of services that we offer as part of the BTP to support that. Next, we have the ability to support analytics. So that is the ability to get insights out of your data, because once you have that strong data foundation, that's the next thing you want to do. You want to understand what's happened and what's likely to happen in the future based on predictive analytics. Then we move into application development. This is going to allow you to not only sense what was happening from an analytic perspective, but actually respond by even creating custom or new applications that you can begin to implement within your organization, or even be able to optimize certain business processes. And then finally, we've got intelligent technologies, which are all about basically being able to implement capabilities like artificial intelligence or machine learning, and being able to even automate certain business processes that you may have. So I want to first drill into database and data management. We've only got around 40 minutes here today, so I'm going to quickly drill into that and talk about Data Warehouse Cloud. So this is our latest solution that we have that we're making available in the cloud. And if you think about traditional utilities, there's been a huge challenge for IT, right? Not only are they responsible for the centrally managed corporate data, but they're also responsible for providing analytics, modeling that data, providing extracts for finance customer teams, more broadly speaking. Oftentimes what can happen is they begin to lose control of that data, shadow IT organizations begin to appear, and so that can be a huge challenge as they look at potential data and compliance risks. So what we've done is we've completely reimagined how organizations, how utilities may want to be able to take their approach to data and analytics. We provide this governance, security, and trusted landscape at the very, very beginning, and then we enable collaboration within that landscape. So we have something called spaces, whereby different parts of your organization can begin to create the assets that they need and then share those assets across the organization. And these spaces are discrete, they're managed by the business, but can be also expanded or contracted based on the overall data requirements. And the beauty there is that it allows the organizations to really be able to collaborate together. So I want to get into the innovation part and actually show you what Data Warehouse Cloud looks like. So if I look at this and drill in, you can actually see I've got these boxes across the bottom here. These are my actual individual spaces. So I can see what kind of resources these require. At the top, you can see some numbers. I can see I've got actually 75 different spaces. Now these spaces could be highly curated, lots of business data, or this could be a temporary space that somebody created 2 hours ago and then they're going to delete it this afternoon. So there's a lot of flexibility there, which is where we get our agility from. And here I can see 72 of them are not really actively used, but 3 of them are very active. And I want to talk about the applications that we have there on the left-hand side that you'll see. So in the middle there, you can see it says Data Builder. This is the ability for you to begin to model your data together. Then above that, we have something called Business Builder. This is where the business can come in and actually provide additional semantics on top of that. So they can define exactly what the KPIs mean. So that if the data modeling underneath needs to change, right, then the semantic context will still remain in place. We also have security, so we have data access control, which is absolutely critical. And ultimately, we have a data integration monitor, which actually allows you to do 2 types of access of data. The first is you can either replicate data from your source systems directly into Data Warehouse Cloud from a performance perspective, or you can actually federate data. Now, you can access any data that you have within your landscape, whether it's from SAP, so SuccessFactors data, ECC data, S4 data, anything, Fieldglass data, all of that data is available, and also non-SAP data is available as well. So any on-prem data sources you might have, Azure Data Lake, for example, or Amazon S3 buckets, all of these different data sources are available to you, and you can either, again, acquire this data or access it virtually. And once organizations begin using these spaces, what you'll find is that it's going to be really important for you to be able to do a semantic search across those spaces. So here now, I'm interested in financial data, so I'm going to do a quick search here at the top and say, show me my financial views. I've got a view here that I'm really interested in here that's showing me my financial data for the last 3 months. That's absolutely what I'm interested in. But you can see on the left-hand side there, I can kind of navigate and filter in a number of different ways. So we make it easy for the business to share across the different departments, the information that they want to make available to the broader organization. So it's very, very controlled, very governed. Now, I'm going to show you how we can also provide data lineage capabilities. I was just talking to somebody about data lineage earlier today. So I can open up one of these data views that we've created, and I can see the source data at the very bottom, and I can see what the impact of a change to that underlying table would be all the way up through the data modeling process, which is really important, right? Because you want to understand not only how the data might potentially change or what the impact might be, but even what users might be impacted, which are the 2 boxes that are represented at the very top of that diagram. So let's look at the data modeler. Now you may say, what's so special about Data Warehouse Cloud? Any tool where it's all has a database tool has a modeling capability, which is absolutely true. But what's unique about Data Warehouse Cloud is the fact that we have all the federation capabilities built into it, so that whether you're accessing here, you can see ISU tables, BW, ABAP extractors. Whether you're accessing data from SAP or non-SAP, we automatically can federate the data as required. So again, from an end user perspective, you have no idea necessarily where this data comes from, right? The data builder or modeler can actually pull that as required. And not only that, we provide you those pre-built views through something called a content network. So for example, we have a full meter to cash process, which if you go by the BTP booth, you can have a look at that. But we provide you existing content so you can get 80% of the way there, right? And then you can modify that or adjust it for your individual business requirements. Okay, but it's all about being able to provide this agile, elastic landscape, right, that allows the business and IT to be able to collaborate together. And it's also about being able to make sure that you've got the governance, the trust, and the security wrapped around that completely. Now, once you have the data landscape the way you want it, then you also have the ability to then put on top of that analytics. And again, I've mentioned a lot of services that we're offering there. Not just the ability to create pretty charts and graphs, but really predictive analytics to be able to see what's happened yesterday and ultimately what's going to be able to leverage that to see what's going to happen potentially tomorrow or next week. Now, analytics is all about being able to answer questions, right? So you've got a question that you're going to ask, you want to analyze that data, you want to predict what's potentially going to happen if we don't make any adjustments to that, and then want to be able to turn that into a plan, ultimately act on that plan, and then make the appropriate reporting changes. So let's have a look to see kind of what that looks like from an analytics perspective. So here's a quick view of SAP Analytics Cloud, and this is an executive dashboard that we've built. And you can see across the left-hand column here, I've got some key metrics across key areas like capital projects, safety, finance, human resources, right? And here I can see how I'm doing, and I can see what my growth is, whether I'm on track or not, marketing, customer. I'm going to scroll all the way back up to the top here, and what I want to look at is I'm going to look at my capital projects. Now here I can see that year to date, it looks like I'm okay, but if I look at the cost to date, I'm actually over cost. So how can that be? Let me go ahead and look into my project planning, and I can actually see, okay, what I've got here is I've got all my actual costs in the system today up through the end of Q3, but I don't have my costs in the system for Q4. That's why it's showing that I'm actually 25% under budget. But what would happen if I could predict, based on previous spending, what we're going to spend in Q4? I can use the predictive capabilities that are baked into our analytics solutions to be able to do that. So I'm going to do my predictive forecast for the last 3 months of the year, and it's going to automatically use a regression analysis to be able to put that information in there for me. And then what that's going to do is fill in the chart for me and actually show me where I'm going to be. So where am I going to be? I'm actually going to be almost 7.5% over budget. That's not a good thing. So I want to be able to save this forecast back to my underlying system. So I'm going to put in here my updated Q4 forecast. And I'm going to save that as a forecast. I'm going to be able to save this away so I can now share this and collaborate with the broader team and actually allow them to be able to see what I've discovered. And then we'll obviously can make the appropriate adjustments associated with that. So if I want to publish that to my team, I absolutely can. Now, let me look at another key area around analytics, which is my DART rates, or my environmental health and safety. And again, because of the integrated capabilities we have, like the predictive analytics, if I scroll down here to the bottom, we scroll down, you can actually see I've got a predictive forecast based on a previous instance that happened in the past. So I can see the likelihood of a potential challenge. Now, this again is really important because we do predictive capabilities not just in like a planning process, which again is unique to SAP. We're the only BI solution that has planning fully baked in to our analytics solution, right? But I can have the predictive forecast there. We even have built-in machine learning. So here, for example, if I look at my chart where I look at people and human factors and I look at my incidents, I can do something called Smart Insights. What does this do? Smart Insights actually runs in real time right now, and a machine learning algorithm who identifies what's influencing the number of incidents that I've had. And I can see my top contributors here are around body part. If I expand that open, I can actually see, okay, we've had a number of challenges around hand injuries. So again, that was created for me automatically. I didn't have to do anything ahead of time to provide that. I can look at any metric, any analytic, and actually run the Smart Insight capability. Now, the other thing that we offer is the ability to just drill up and down through your standard hierarchies. So here, for example, I could drill down and I can actually see, wow, I've had a lot of incidents as well associated with insufficient rest. So what is this about? This is really all about being able to get insights into information. Now, I had a lot of injuries associated with hands. Here's a very interesting visualization from an environmental health and safety perspective where I can see my incidents. I'm really interested now more in looking at internal injuries, right? We're providing here the ability for me to select, drill in, and actually see an updated chart. I can click here, respiratory injuries, and here now I can see potentially who's been impacted by that. Now again, assuming I had the security, the ability to be able to see this, I could actually drill in, for example, to an individual employee profile, look at their training profile, look to see what crew they're a part of, how they've completed their associated educations, and so on. My point here being that we provide analytics that don't work in a silo, but rather work across the entire enterprise. And here now I can actually see details about this particular person and by drilling through, in this case, a success factors environment. So that's great. We're seeing some pre-built dashboards. That's a really nice capability. But what about the ability of doing even like a Google type of search? So while this refreshes on the top right-hand side of the screen here, you can see it says Search to Insight. What is Search to Insight? It's the ability for me to provide my end users with the ability to type in what is the information they're looking for. Let's look at asset costs, for example. I can say, what are my costs by? Look at it fills it in for me automatically. Okay, cost by asset type. I do a search on that, and it's actually going to create the visualization for me. That's huge. Now I'm looking at by asset type, but what about over time? So now I'm able to click on that. Now I don't have a time field in my data set, but it understands that time and date are kind of the same thing. So it actually shows me that information based on a certain end date, and I've got the visualization I want. And so now here what I can do is I can actually save this visualization back through to my underlying dashboard, right? Or I can make it available to me at any point in time. So that's a quick example of how we can use the business technology platform and use analytics to be able to get great insights. And then finally, I just want to show you another great capability, which is the ability to just be able to explore the data that I have within my landscape. We've done a lot of innovation projects around our gas distribution. And so here, for example, I've got days delayed. Let's look at maybe budget information. If I just click here on budget, boom, I can immediately see all of my associated details there. Let's look at days delayed, and let's look at for our gas project P43. So here now, again, as I drill in to my individual projects for modernization, it's all about making analytics easy. P43, there I can actually see that my days delayed was 119 days. So that's just a quick example, a quick flyover of how we're providing analytics that are really easy for users to use, that will leverage the data within your enterprise in a very consumable way that can be easily shared. Again, same here, we have a content network, we have a number of these kind of pre-built analytic packages ready for you to download as part of the business technology platform. And in fact, if you just drive 8 hours north of here, you can go to Levi Stadium, and Steve Chang is the BI director there, and he created something called the Executive Huddle, where they're actually able to provide lots of insights around a best-in-class fan experience, right? Because it's all about the customer, right? Whether you're an NFL football team, whether you're a utility.
And what they were able to do was pull in information from all different parts of their organization using the integration suite that I'm going to talk about in just a minute. So they pulled in data from food and beverage, from parking, from fan feedback, and even weather data, right? Because weather is going to potentially impact what services people need. And so they were able to then visualize that through our SAP Analytics Cloud capability. So incredible insights there. So the second pillar of the business technology platform is around analytics. We provide smart features, machine learning, artificial intelligence baked into those solutions. The fact that we're the only analytics tool in the marketplace today that has embedded planning, right, that has business content that you can leverage out of the box, and providing that live access to SAP data. So my next pillar here is around application development and integration. So that ability to do application development and integration. So when it comes to organizations, of course, SAP does not work in a silo, right? You've got lots of different enterprise applications that are going to be deployed within your utility. So you've got to have a strong integration suite to be able to integrate those solutions together. SAP is best in class here from the perspective of the number of pre-built integrations we offer out of the box. Yes, there are a lot of other organizations out there, like MuleSoft, for example. They provide SAP integrations. There's other vendors out there. But our integrations are unique from the perspective of we deliver over 2,000 integration packs. These integration packs are provide you the information that you need around the integration flow, how the information is going to potentially move in and through your organization. It also allows you to look at the message mappings that you want to do, as well as the value mappings within that data. So it's not just an individual REST API, it's actually a full set of business capabilities that are available to you. And of course, again, it's not just integrations within SAP applications, but also third parties. So we do provide APIs to other cloud vendors like Salesforce. In fact, you can go right out onto our website. It's called api.sap.com, where you can see all the APIs that we offer through our Business Hub. And so here's a quick view of what that Business Hub looks like if you go out there. And again, the integrations that we offer, if I drill into success factors on the bottom left there and look at metadata integration with S4, what you can actually see is, again, those integration workflows I talked about how the user ID and employee data is going to pass through into your S4 system. Actually, going to show you how you can schedule that information and even provide you a workflow here where you can actually be able to query that information out of the system as well. So that's a quick flyover of integration. What about the extension suite? So we actually allow you to build extensions to your SAP landscape. There are three key pillars and areas that we work in here. The first is around the user experience, the digital experience, about process automation, and finally being able to support the developer. And this is key because we fully recognize there are so many development platforms that are out there, right? Which is one of the reasons why we allow you to actually bring your own language. You can even use other development platforms to create UI5 types of applications. And the key capabilities here are that we allow you to keep your core clean. So by having this cloud development landscape, we allow you to develop application extensions or modifications to your core SAP system outside of SAP, keeping your core clean and ultimately making sure that your landscape is always upgrade ready. Because in order for you to keep up with the latest innovations and capabilities, you do want to have that clean core within the landscape. So what does it look like here? Again, we have content that we offer, we have missions that we've created. What is a mission? A mission is an ability for you to go onto our Discovery Center website and find a use case that you would like to implement within your organization. So on the top left here, you can see where it says showing 6 missions. Just under that it says automate data extraction from business documents with AI and intelligent RPA. So what I can do is I can actually click into that. It tells me everything I need to know. It's got an overview screen here at the top where I can see that. It's showing me my project board, which would tell me, how many weeks, 2 to 4 weeks, whatever it would take me to implement this. Under resources, it's going to tell me what APIs or what licenses I might need to be able to do this. Under support, it's going to have user documentation. Everything I need to be able to get started is absolutely right there, which is huge, right? Because we understand with innovation, being agile, you've got to be able to pick up new technologies quickly, and we want you absolutely to be able to do that. Also, when it comes to extension capabilities, one of the key things I want to talk about real quickly is workflow management, right? The ability for you to be able to create your own workflows, not just within applications, but across applications. This is absolutely huge. For example, if I had someone come to me and I needed a capital expense request, approval process, how might I do that? We have a low-code environment that we offer where you can literally drag and drop these individual steps, these boxes onto the canvas, and you can specify, I want this to be a form, these are the fields I'm gonna ask for, this is the where the approval amount's gonna go, and then I can put in decision points about, is an approval necessary? If so, it'll continue on and get the associated approval, we'll send the notifications, etc. What's great about this is because this is built into our business rule engine, we have our decision engine, we have the ability to set up master data or business rules whereby you can specify these are the list of the approvers. This is the hierarchy of how this needs to work. This is where the amount of approval has been appropriately specified. So you can, again, have these standard rules defined within the landscape and then build the workflows that are able to leverage those. We also want to bring the business into this as well by having something called process variants, where they can actually, in a completely no-code environment, drag the boxes onto the screen and actually define for the IT team how they want a specific workflow to be able to work within their organization. Because again, it's really hard for IT to be able to keep up with all the things that business wants to do, so we want to bring them into the development conversation as well. And then of course, once I have a workflow defined, what good is it if people aren't using it? I've got to understand, is it successful? Is it bringing value to the business? So here in my capital expense approval, I've got some dashboard metrics you can see here. These were literally just created in just a few seconds, where all the key KPIs behind here are automatically defined. I can just define where I want to see it on the dashboard. And the beauty here is that I can take any one of these individual items, I can make it integrated, make it part of a mobile application, put it on the mobile phone of my CFO or CEO so that they could see this information refresh in real time. This development platform that we have is really all about technologies and solutions that are able to work together. That's absolutely key. But now you don't have to develop all these solutions yourself. We also provide them from partners. So here, for example, is a solution that SAP implemented called, we call it the Appreciate system. It's from something called Job Points. Michael Marcotte did a great job setting this up. So I'm going to send him an Appreciate Award. I'm going to send this off. I'm going to type his name in here. This is actually integrated directly to our HR landscape, to SuccessFactors. I'm just going to say, hey, thanks, Michael, for getting everybody to come to my BTP session. And we really appreciate all the coordination and effort, and above and beyond. I can specify, hey, this is part of our SAP Keep the Promise pillar. I can send that out, and then Michael will receive, or Michael's boss will receive the notification, and then if it gets approved, he'll be able to receive it. And here is the email notification that I received. So again, really easy capabilities that not just for you to build yourself, but are made available from our partners and are easily downloadable directly from our e-store. So again, when it comes to extending or augmenting SAP's capabilities, there are a lot of solutions that are already out there for you to be able to take advantage of. I want to now drill into more of a kind of a custom portal specifically that we built for utilities, where you can actually see things like transmission network portal. So here, for example, I've got a geospatial view. I've got some key metrics across the top, and I want to turn on my weather just so you can kind of see this information streaming in. So again, this is a custom application that I built, but I'm leveraging information from both SAP and non-SAP data sources. I've got NOAA information coming in here. I'm able to look at maybe historical weather patterns here. So I can control exactly what the user is looking at and what's being visualized on the screen. This is my transmission grid network that I'm able to look at. And I can drill in then ultimately to Naperville to this particular distribution area. And as I drill in, I can see the health of the network based on the color coding that I have here. And within this area, I've actually done a lot of tree trimming recently, and I've done some drone flyovers. So here again, right from this portal, I can integrate to different parts of my business. I can see there's some tree overhangs there that I need to have a look at. So as I close this footage, what I want to be able to do is potentially add this to a maintenance list. So any information that I wanted to make available to my operation, my business, to any part of the organization, all that information can be brought together into a single experience. Now, I can even overlay with work order information. So here I'm looking at work orders, and if I drill into this one neighborhood right here in the middle, you can see I had 2 work orders. As I click on that, What am I doing? I'm actually integrating information directly from Google Maps. So here I can see the context of where this customer is located, who has lived there in the past. We had one outage. I can see the consumption breakdown of this particular residence, right? And so this is showing me that this particular residence, they're a top 10 customer. I can see their usage profile over time. I can see the breakdown of their energy consumption within the home. And I can even see a breakdown of time of use, time of day. So again, this is what the business technology platform offers. It's this operating system, right, that really drives the intelligent utility. So if I close that down now and drill out, I also want to show how we're leveraging core capabilities that come with other solutions like HANA, right? I'm sure many of you have used our HANA database in the past. So here I want to show how I can even do a trace of the grid from source to target. So here I set it trace from the house. I'm going to execute a trace all the way through to that individual location. And as I do that, I can see exactly where the power is going to flow, what junctions that's going to flow through, etc. So again, tremendous insight for my operators, for example, to see that in context of my work orders, my customers. I can see all the assets associated here. I want to drill in and actually do the same real quickly so you can see this from a substation perspective. So if I drill into a substation, I've got that ability to see the same types of metrics and details. So here I've got my substation, I've got all these key metrics that I can expose here. This is what the analytic platform is all about, or the integration platform is all about. I've got all these key metrics that are so important for me to be able to understand and make sure that my utility, my substations, my assets continue to operate successfully. And as I look here, I can see likelihood of failure. So I can say I've got 4 different things that I need to potentially look at that could cause a failure with the substation and the likelihood of those things happening. And so then what I can also do is I can look to see what's happening right now within this individual substation. So here I can be getting real-time information in from my SCADA network, for example, or I can see I've got an overvoltage on a particular switch. So here, for example, I want to be able to come in here and I want to be able to turn the switch off, for example, because I want to get rid of that overvoltage. So again, that ability to integrate not just my back office system with my customer information, but even ultimately, again, assuming I had a bridge to be able to do so, connecting my SCADA network would be amazing. I can also then drill into, again, all the details associated with the substation. So here, for example, I've got 65 work orders. You can see we haven't been operating as well as we could here. So again, it's all about making these types of KPIs available. And then finally, I want to show, and you may have seen this if you walked around the booth areas that we had here at the session, you may have seen this kind of visual technologies that were shown by Brian Worth in his pod. But here, for example, if I drill around, I want to look at this transformer. I've got all the associated meta details around this transformer, everything I need to know about it, when it was installed, what it is, what its rating is. And I can also drill directly into the asset intelligent network. So if you're an asset person, here you go. You can drill into the asset intelligent network. And I can see, again, all of those same KPIs. I can see all the maintenance schedule, analytics, all those types of things directly here as well. And so the key around this is the fact that instead of me requiring the operator to drill back and forth between both SAP and non-SAP systems, I can bring all that information together in this one single consistent interface. So again, I'm talking a lot about what SAP is able to do, but the business technology platform is all about also integrating non-SAP systems as well. So hopefully that's a big takeaway for you today as well. All right, so let's keep things moving along. I just covered the application development and integration platform. I mentioned kind of low-code, no-code environments that we have. We have over 2,000 integration packs, not just APIs. We have a business application studio, which is all about allowing you to create these types of new applications that we've just seen. Now, around intelligent technologies, how might I want to optimize certain processes? Well, we have something called the intelligent RPA. Has anybody ever heard of robotic process automation before? Okay, so a few nods of the head. So SAP provides a unique view of the robotic process automation called intelligent RPA. And that's because our solution really understands how SAP systems work, understands how they exchange information and data, both for our cloud solutions and on-prem solutions, as well as even non-SAP solutions. And I want to show you, for example, what that might look like. So for example, again, another quick demo, because this is an innovation session. I want to keep it interesting. So here we go. I've got 4 postings I need to do at the end of March to get my Q1 postings completed. I've got a spreadsheet with a number of different postings, but only 4 of them are for March. I can see these 4 listed here. Now, instead of me having to go have someone manually go into the system and put these postings in, I can actually put them into a spreadsheet, and then I can run my RPA bot. That RPA bot is going to request what's the name of the spreadsheet. Now, I'm going to show this against a classic ECC system because I know many of you are still using ECC today. So it's going to open up an interface that you'll recognize, right? It's going to open up the SAP GUI. So as it launches that, it says, okay, it found 4 entries that need to be updated within the spreadsheet. So it's going to log me automatically into my SAP system, and it's going to begin to do these GL postings for me. So it jumps to the GL transactions, puts in the document date, the posting date, fills it in, posts the transaction, and it's going to do this for each of the individual 4 transactions. And as it does that, what you're going to notice is it gets to this 3rd transaction as it saves, it actually has an invalid company code. You see the red box that appeared on the screen? That's actually an error that makes that posting not valid or not possible. So now what it's going to do is it's going to finish the last transaction, and when it comes back here, what you're actually going to see is that all the information that was understood by our system can actually be returned back to the spreadsheet itself. So what do you see here? You actually see the document numbers posted back into the Excel spreadsheet, as well as the error message that came directly from SAP around why that particular transaction failed. So the robotic process automation is all about making it easy for you to get processes done, being able to automate certain tedious tasks that organizations have to do over and over again. We also have something called, we have the RPA store, where you can see a number of pre-built bots. Hopefully the takeaway here as well, besides the fact that that business technology platform is the operating system, right, of the intelligent utility, I've said that once I think, is that we have the capabilities of being able to help you get moving quickly through our stores, through our pre-built content, etc. Now, again, agility is really key, and many of us experienced lots of changes when COVID hit. Parkland Hospital is out of Dallas, Texas, and one of the things that what happened to them is their call center was absolutely inundated with phone calls when COVID hit. And so they came to SAP and they said, how can you guys help us? And we said, well, you know what, we think we can use our conversational AI technology to be able to support you. If you go out to their website right now, you can actually fill out a number of questions. These are based on recommendations from the CDC, and you can see whether or not you should likely get tested for COVID or not. And this was a huge benefit for them because they really needed to desperately reduce their call volume. This is a great way to be able to do that, right? To be able to serve your customers, get them the information that they need and being able to take the pressure off of your individual call center. So I hope they'll have a chance to actually take it for a test drive maybe a little bit later. If you go out to Parkland Hospital, you'll see it in the bottom right-hand corner, the COVID symptom checker. So that was a quick overview of the intelligent technologies, how we're delivering artificial intelligence and machine learning through solutions like in the intelligent RPA and conversational AI. I mentioned before how IoT, we can pull information in real time. So there's lots of key capabilities here to really allow organizations to deliver incredible capabilities. So where are we? Let's loop back for a second for the business technology platform, because it's what? It's the operating system of the intelligent utility. Absolutely, it's the operating system of the intelligent utility. It's at the base of everything that SAP is doing from an innovation perspective, right? It's allowing us to innovate in our suite. It's allowing us to deliver amazing capabilities for our customers. And again, it's something that we want you to be able to begin taking advantage of. So I've got Igor, for example, right here. Igor, you want to raise your hand real quick? So Igor is one of the folks from our Business Technology Platform Center of Excellence. We've got also some folks that are working directly in the pods here and under BTP if you walk through the SAP demo area. And we'd love to talk to you about what are some of the use cases that you might potentially want to implement, right? We've done a quick flyover of data, analytics, application development, and ultimately intelligent technologies. We'd love to see what your use cases are and how we might be able to help you leverage some of these the business technology platform to ultimately deliver innovation to your organization. So, and again, we can have an initial conversation here, and then we can plan maybe a 2 to 3 hour event at your location, and be able to talk to you about how we can kind of help you adapt this technology and go further faster. So that was, again, I said buckle your seatbelts. Hopefully that was beneficial. Again, my name is David too. Thanks everybody for coming, and I don't know, Michael, if we have any time.
Yeah, we've got a few minutes for